Everybody is writing about what comes next, and I think we haven't fully understood what we're in the middle of yet.
My name is Hadsbjerg. I believe in the power of storytelling and its ability to connect us as individuals, but also to nature and to the world around us. Today, we're going to hear Daniel Wahl's story. Daniel, thank you for your time here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
What's just written on paper, you're a marine biologist, you've trained as a zoologist, a biologist, you've taken a PhD in natural design. But more than anything, you've been a consultant around to both governments at a local and national level, and even beyond that, on how we are creating a society for the future, regenerative society. And today, being in the lives we're living, we're all trapped on the inside of our homes with our families due to coronavirus. This is a time to stop and just that pause and to look at the world that we've created. When suddenly everything's taken from us, what is it that we're moving into? And I think, Daniel, you're the perfect person to, if I could stand at the window and look out together with you into the world, once these doors open again, what is the world that we're stepping out into? And more importantly, what do you think what world should it be, or what should we be creating or aiming for in terms of the world after this coronavirus and the opportunity in that?
Like, my initial impulse was like, okay, this is the shift. This is now the trigger that we didn't see coming, or in many ways government contingency planning was looking at global pandemics as one of the most likely and most impactful scenarios that would disturb things, but we chose not to respond to it. But the world's transformed in a way that many people that have been ringing the alarm bells for the climate emergency over the last 10, 15, 20 years were asking for rapid transformational change. And we were always told that's impossible. It's irresponsible. We can't drive an economic system, even if it is failing and if it is dysfunctional. We can't drive it against the wall because many people will suffer. And politically, nobody wanted to take that kind of risk. And now within a few days, we stopped flying, we stopped traveling, we stopped consuming to a large degree. We only consume what's necessary to survive, and we don't go on shopping sprees anymore. I feel humbled by the situation. I just want to listen, and I want to observe, and I want to reflect. And I think it will fundamentally transform our future, because from now on, nobody will ever be able to say that's impossible. We will always be able to say it was possible under Corona. That said, of course, we're now seeing how quickly we're now forced to regionalize our basic production and consumption of the things that we need to keep people fed and people with fresh water and with energy at a local level. The health of my cell is ultimately part of the expression of the health of the planet. And the health of the planet will feed back on the health of my cells. And so that's when I understood that really what we're trying to sustain is systemic health and well-being. Like, wisdom traditions of all indigenous cultures have these three questions. How does it serve myself? How does it serve my family or my community? And how does it serve the whole, or life, all of it? And all three questions are important. And we can answer them in a way that it has to serve all three of them.
I think, Daniel, that's often been something that surprised me about your work and the research that you've done, is because you have a very scientific or academic perspective on things, but then suddenly you bring in these words like collaboration and empathy and love and the heart and, being interconnected. And I think that's daring to put these terms and these words that often are kept quite separate, the spirituality, the heart, the compassion, with the science, and bringing those together. And I think you've been able to do that in quite an extraordinary way.
What I try to do with that book and what I try to do with my work is it's a bridging between ways of seeing that both have, there are many ways of seeing and being in the world that all have validity, and they can all inform wise action in the face of uncertainty and not knowing. But culturally, we've made the mistake, to my mind, to only value one particular way of seeing and one particular way of measuring success, that has made us blind to the complexity of qualities and human relationships and the real, like what really sustains life is around qualities and relationships. I find it really hard to celebrate the gift that this epidemic has, or pandemic has given us, this gift of stopping, of reflecting, because for those people who are already affected, either directly or whose family are in intensive care units, for them it will be extremely hard to hear that somebody says, "Oh, thank you, coronavirus, for making us see." They're suffering right now, and the care personnel that is taking care of them are at the edge of their capabilities, and we're just at the beginning of a level of suffering that we haven't seen in our generation, that maybe only our grandparents know of from the last World War, and that's not even true, because so many people all over the world have had that suffering ever since, right in their face. But we privileged Westerners haven't seen this for a very long time. Like, when will we be able to build community? When will we be able to come out of this and realize how twisted it was to hardly know your neighbors? Now I every evening at 8 o'clock, we're all there clapping the health system on the balcony, and there's a sense of community that we probably never had. It's such a systemically such a sensitive time, where even what you say can make a difference. But the word social distancing is the wrong word. We need physical distancing and social connecting, as we do right now, as deficient it is to connect in this way rather than to go for a walk together. I think the big invitation is to not play the old tape.
I agree.
And what I find almost a bit difficult to watch is how everybody is trying to make a statement now, because I guess people have more time on social media, so everybody is writing about what comes next, and I think we haven't fully understood what we're in the middle of yet, and I think it's really coming back to basics, to counting your blessings every day, while you're healthy, and if you're with the right people. I just sense so much how many people are suffering in situations where they're locked in a flat with people that they don't want to be with. Like the whole issue of domestic violence and stuff, it makes me like, there must be so much horror going on behind closed doors in too many places right now, and that's what I'm so concerned about. We need to start growing food everywhere, and not just for yourself. Like we now, like in every windowsill, on every balcony, on every rooftop, if we don't watch out and we don't pay attention to the people that will suffer and die along the way to make this rebirth possible, you don't want to build the new out of the horrors of the old. Like, we need to, more than ever, be midwives and hospice workers and be sensitive to what's dying right now.